All right, how you folks doing tonight? Well, it's just so good to see you folks, and I look forward to this class every week, and a big part of it is just the interaction with people of like positive energy and thinking, all right? And not everyone has it. Even Jesus, since we're talking about his teaching, I was telling some people recently, he said 1 out of every 4 people would produce fruit from his message. So that means if he taught 100 people, guess how many of them got it? Now think 100, how many got it? Do the math. 1 out of 4, right? How many would that be? Get you guys thinking. 100, well, 25, right. So if he taught 100 people, 25 of them got it and brought forth fruit. And I found it's that way with this type thinking and teaching, because a lot of people they just don't get it, and they won't get it. But as long as I'm feeling happy, healthy, and terrific, I'm going to go ahead and enjoy it. Is that right? So if it's working for you, please ignore the family members, the friends, the relatives, the in-laws, the outlaws that say, that stuff doesn't work. You said you came too late. It's working for me, and it's working real well. It's exciting to become a positive thinker and get your mind really in shape. Is that right, Tom?
That's right.
Yeah, Tom and I, we've been meeting. He said, every time I come and I leave, I feel uplifted. And that's what it's all about. Yes, ma'am, Belinda, you had a hand up?
Oh, I guess I didn't have to say it, but I was talking to a guy at SunTrust Bank, because one of the SunTrust banks, they have this circle thing.
Mm-hmm.
You put what your going happens to be. It was nice. He put a goal that he wanted on his own business.
Uh-huh.
So I says, well, but I was little, I had a Kool-Aid stand, because that was my own business. I said, so let's think about this. You want to own your own business, that's pretty good, but about how much revenue do you want to produce?
Uh-huh.
Because to me, a part of owning your own business, to me, is how much money you want to make. Because you can own your own business and make $5.
Right. That's true. You got to set goals, right?
But he basically said that he wasn't in it for the money, and I told him everything I do is for the money.
Okay. You're not shy at all.
I'm in it for the money.
Well, that's good.
Of course, my thing is welcome to Think and Be Rich.
Think and be rich. I like that. Could be a new book, huh?
My version.
All right. Well, cool. Good. All right, let's get started. You folks ready tonight? You ready to learn? Now, tonight we're going to talk about some practical how-tos. That's funny. We were talking earlier, and Arvis was saying the thing about so many books, they tell you what to do, but they don't tell you how to. So tonight, I love this lesson because it's going to be a powerful lesson in how to apply many of the concepts that we have taught in Think and Grow Rich. And I'm just so thrilled that you're here to learn and to choose to apply these laws of prosperity. But before we start, let us all make our affirmation. Everyone say after me, I feel happy.
I feel happy.
I feel healthy.
I feel healthy.
And I feel terrific.
And I feel terrific.
Once again, say I feel happy.
I feel happy.
I feel healthy.
I feel healthy.
And I feel terrific.
And I feel terrific.
All right, tonight let's continue our study. We're studying the millionaires of the Bible. The millionaires of the Bible. I was talking to a person about this recently, and when I said the millionaires of the Bible, he looked at me like, are there any millionaires in the Bible? I thought everyone in the Bible was poor. Doesn't the Bible teach taking a vow of poverty? No, there's no such vow in the Bible. Men have taught poverty. Men have taught that you should be poor and it's an honorable thing, but that's not in the Bible. So we're studying systematically from the millionaires of the Bible. And by the way, to qualify again, we're not teaching it in a religious fashion. We're teaching it in a principle-based fashion because there are principles in the Bible that'll make your life great. How many of you agree with that? I mean, I don't care who you are. The principles applied will make your life great. But I think what happens is we so often put it all in a religious context and we spiritualize it so much that we start to lose the impact or the effect. And I don't apologize when I teach on the millionaires of the Bible. I personally love teaching the psychology of the Bible. I think the Bible is one of the greatest psychology books there is. People say, psychology of the Bible? What kind of? Well, it teaches you how to think. I'm driving in tonight, and I saw a sign that says Imaging Health. And it was on a place where you, of course, I believe, go to get x-rays for health. But what I saw in my mind is, wow, that would make a great book title, Imaging Health, because the image you have on the inside of you affects the health on the outside of you. And I thought, wow, imaging. Tonight, let's move into chapter 2. And again, we're teaching from Sister Catherine Ponda, her book, The Millionaire from Nazareth, His Prosperity Secrets for You. And last week, we talked basically about the fact that Jesus was not poor, and nor does he want you poor. And we showed you that many of his miracles were prosperity miracles, particularly the first 2 miracles. So tonight, we're going to talk some about the law of adaptability. Everybody say adaptability. Now, this is a very, very powerful, powerful law. And this law works, the law of adaptability. It is a prosperity law that Jesus taught. First of all, 2 of Jesus' first miracles were prosperity miracles. We hear a lot about the healing miracles of Jesus, don't you? Most people, when you hear about Jesus. But we don't hear as much about the prosperity miracles, and in this teaching, we're going to delve into it. The first miracle that Jesus performed was turning water into what? That's a prosperity miracle, isn't it? It is not a healing miracle. You say, if I drink enough of it, I'll feel healthy. Well, I know you would be feeling no pain, but Ben Franklin says, wine is proof that God loves us and wants us to be healthy. That's a quote by Ben Franklin, by the way. I put that in one of my books, and some people, you need to take that out of there. So, well, Ben Franklin was a wise man, okay. But the first miracle was turning water into wine. That implies to me something about his approach to life and thinking, which implies he wants us to have fun. He wants us to enjoy festive times and so on. The second miracle was the miracle of a sinking boat load of fish, or I should say boat's load of fish, because he had Peter throw his net out, and Peter caught so much fish that his boat started to sink and the second boat began to sink. Now, those are the first 2 miracles, and they were both prosperity miracles. Does that tell you anything? There were miracles of prosperity, miracles of abundance. In fact, Peter, James, and John decided to follow him because of prosperity. Wow. I think I'll say that backwards. Wow. Some of you said, now, come on now. Yeah, Peter, after seeing that miracle, said, get away from me, man. I'm a sinful dude. And he fell to his knees, and Jesus said, don't worry about it. From now on, you're going to catch men instead of just catching fish like I did here. So prosperity attracted Peter. Does that make sense? And a lot of people today don't realize prosperity is attractive to many people that may not even look at the spiritual side of something. But when you help me catch that much fish and I'm in the fishing business, guess what? You got my attention. Now, let's talk about understanding law, because we're talking about the law of adaptability. What is a law? Someone tell me. Now, I'm not talking about the police, okay? The popo, okay? What is a law? Just tell me in your own words. Come on, not everybody at once. What would you say a law is?
A rule.
A rule. Very good, a rule. Anybody else? What is a law? Well, gravity is a law, right? Does gravity work? Does it work all the time? Or does it work sometimes? No matter how good you are, how bad you are, if you get on the top of the building and walk to the side, you are coming down. Does that make sense? So a law, you could say, is something that works all the time. It is a rule of action. Sir Isaac Newton said, there is a set of natural laws that govern the physical world and a set of higher laws that govern the spiritual and the mental world. And of course, Sir Isaac Newton, legend says, was sitting under the tree and the apple fell on his head, and he started wondering, why did the apple fall instead of going up? Have you ever thought about that? So he started thinking about things like gravity. There are spiritual laws and mental laws that work. And that's what Jesus was really trying to teach us, how to apply spiritual and mental laws. The higher mental and spiritual laws are so powerful that they can be used either to multiply or to neutralize or even reverse the natural laws. So what we're saying is the spiritual laws are so powerful, they can override the natural laws. Does that make sense? And this is law. If you've never watched The Secret, you need to watch The Secret. Because The Secret talks about the law of what? Law of attraction. What you're thinking about is coming to pass in your life. As you think in your heart, as within, so without. And these are spiritual and mental laws. Now, the law of adaptability is a law. The word adapt means to make suitable by changing, or to change without difficulty, to adapt, to change, or to bring into harmony. And Jesus evoked the law of adaptability wherever he was, because whatever he needed, he caused the circumstance to adapt to abundance. Does that make sense? What happened when they needed to feed the multitude? He took the little boy's lunch and did what? Caused it to adapt to feed 5,000. Now, I know you're saying, I'm not trying to feed 5,000. I'm trying to feed me and my family, and I'm trying to pay my bills. This will help you pay your bills, okay? Guys, we're talking about esoteric prosperity. And the word esoteric means from within. True wealth comes from within. I was talking to a guy today. He said, I could care less about the money and the stuff on the outside. I'm really thinking about what's... I said, you're on the right path, because the outside takes care of itself when the inside is right. Is that right? You get the man or the woman together, the world out here will come together. And this is what esoteric prosperity means, your mental and your spiritual thinking. Now, the mental attitude that Jesus invoked, you can use also. All right, so question, did Jesus teach that we should all be poor? Someone tell me. No. Did he want people to prosper? Did he make people prosperous? Do you think Jesus will prosper a business person? All right, how many of you own businesses? Some of you, your business will take off if you get these laws. See, my business prospers because I talk to it. I just don't hope I get a job or a contract. I'm talking to stuff all the time. Right now, I have a deal out there, a $5,000 deal. And the deal looked like it was done. I mean, as of yesterday, it looked like it was done. But this morning, it looks like it's going the other direction. You ever been involved in deals like that? So, you know, I mean, everything is lined up, and I won't tell you about the deal. It's a training deal, but a $5,000 deal. I mean, they're about ready to write the check. All of a sudden, the guy starts talking today about, well, maybe we do something else. We got to talk to these people on Wednesday. That's when I go to thinking and talking to my stuff. Now, some of you may say, I don't do that. I start to cuss my stuff. And that's why you're struggling financially. Your financial prosperity is on the inside of you. It's not out here. And that's what I want. That's what this college is all about. Business people need to learn. It's not about competing with the man out there. It's about developing the man or the woman on the inside. And that's all Jesus was trying to teach. Don't worry about gaining wealth from Caesar's world. Learn to operate in the kingdom with the law of attraction, even though he didn't call it that. Or attraction has to do with vibration, with positive forces that vibrate and draw stuff to you. And people know that this works. What does a magnet do? It attracts, it pulls things to them. So now I'm thinking today, I'm not just going to sit here and let this deal fall through. And I did not talk to the people. I talked to the situation and affirm only good will come out of this. Everybody say only good will come out of this. Next time something starts falling apart business-wise, start saying only good will come out of this. Only good will come out of this. That's right. Only good. And watch what happens. So now I have a peace about the situation, and I just know it's going to work out. So the law of adaptability. Now let's talk some about how to apply this. And I'm going to quickly give you some principles that I want you to write down. And these principles will change your life and make you more effective. In fact, I think we have some more of that note paper somewhere from last week, because we had about 50. Everybody I know pretty much has their note paper, but if you want some of our nice note paper, we'll give you some note paper. Okay? Yeah, it's just nice. It's got the Millionaire from Nazareth on it and a few other things. So let's talk about these principles. Principle number one, when a need arises, don't panic. Thank you very much, Gary. When a need arises, don't panic. Why? What do we tend to do when a financial need arises?
Get scared.
We get scared, right? Oh, got a bill in the mail. Oh, my goodness. Oh, this bill is high. It's higher than I thought. Oh, they're trying to put a tax lien on me. Oh, my goodness, the IRS is after me. They're going to audit me. Or you just get an unexpected bill, or maybe a legitimate bill. When a need arises, don't panic. Now, how does this apply to Jesus? Now, follow me closely. Jesus is at a wedding, and they ran out of what?
Wine.
In the Middle East particularly, a wedding was a lavish experience of great importance. And in wealthy families, it was extremely embarrassing to run out of anything. Now, how many of you have ever had people over for a big meal or something like that, and you started to run out of something, and you were real nervous that you're about to run out of macaroni or whatever you were serving, or maybe something gourmet like king crab or whatever. It's kind of embarrassing when you run out, right? Well, the people came to Jesus, Jesus' mother particularly came and said, they have no wine. They are out of wine. Did Jesus panic? No, he was as cool as a cucumber. Stop panicking when things go wrong in your life, because panic will attract more panic. What you fear will attract more of what you fear. In fact, there's a saying, a motivational saying, do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. So when you're facing that fear, do the thing you fear. Sometimes when a bill comes in the mail, one of the first things you should do is give away some money. I can't afford to give away some money. I need money. Well, when you give, you are doing the thing you fear. Does that make sense? Do not panic when something goes wrong. When a need arises, do not panic. Everybody say, don't panic. Step number 2 is prepare inwardly for good. Prepare inwardly. And that's what we're doing in these classes. We are preparing the inside for wealth. Because I have a goal and a vision to see 1,000 millionaires come out of this school. 1,000. Are you one of them?
Yes.
Hopefully you are. But it takes great seriousness and commitment. It's not easy, you know. And I'm not saying that it'll kill you, but you've got to be committed to this stuff. And when a need arises, you don't want to panic. You want to be working on the inside. That need is a great opportunity to go to work on the inside. In fact, this inward working is very important to prosperity. Anybody here realize that you can self-sabotage your prosperity? All right. Studies reveal that if you have a self-concept of poverty, you will attract poverty into your life, and even if wealth comes, you will scare the wealth away. Why? Because of the inner self-image or self-concept of poverty. So go to work on the inside. We're all doing that, right? That's why reading the book is so important. You know, I have read this whole book. Notice I have it highlighted, and I don't do this to brag. I'm just to show you I'm a student of this stuff, because this is what I believe. And I read the whole book, and now I'm teaching it, and I'm reading it again. And every week, every day, I spend some time reading it, because I have to internalize so that I can materialize. Everybody say, I'm internalizing. Now, don't panic, internalize. Step number 3, speak words of abundance. Speak words of abundance. Now, why is it important when a need arises to speak words of abundance? Come on, talk to me, somebody. Why is that important?
You're setting up that vibration to activate the good to come to you.
To activate the good to come to you. Oh, man, that is so good. See, Arvis bought the book, and she's reading it, and it's good, isn't it? I know you didn't get that from the book, but I just thought that. That's how you roll, huh? Okay, that's how you live. All right, because when you send those words out, you are activating the good to come to you. Guys, the tremendous thing is so many people don't know this stuff. And you'd be amazed at the educated, intellectual people that don't really know or understand this. In fact, I think this whole thing is going to happen from grassroots people like you guys, not the, highly educated PhDs of the world that have been schooled in the way they have been schooled, because they cannot think out of the box. Like when you talk about the power of words, for instance, a lot of people, I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in that stuff. Yeah, you really do. It's just that you don't really understand it. Why? When you speak words of abundance to hard situations, you start to change the situation. For instance, there were 6 water pots of stone at the wedding. Jesus told the servants to fill them with water and to use what they had on hand, which was what? Plain water. They filled them to the brim. So Jesus spoke and said, fill the water pots. Everybody said, fill the water pots. Okay, so you've got a need. He's not panicking. He goes within and says, I know this need can be met. And he speaks the word, fill the water pots. Now, the guys take the water and start pouring it in the water pot. A lot of people don't realize, but it was roughly 100 gallons of water. 100 gallons. That's a lot of water, isn't it? Now, you got this crazy guy that you think is crazy telling you to fill these pots with water. You're thinking, shoot, I'm no water boy. I'm not getting all that water for nothing. So they had to have faith. They filled the water pots, and the water pots were, I like what Sister Ponder says, they were rough, rugged water pots. She said you need to speak words to the rough, rugged, tough situation of your life. That's why I'm so into the affirmation things. Last week, if you didn't get one of these, you need to get one. We have some new ones. The gold card. Because this alone can start to break up the rough, hard places in your life by affirming words. Nature moves by law. To the extent to which nature is prepared to make the transformation from lack to abundance is indicated by the water pots being filled to the brim and speaking words. So what do? You act on it and you talk to it. Everybody say act on it and talk to it. That's why I like to say I am a millionaire. Think and be rich, right? I am healthy. You think it and you speak it. Lately, we have been discovering the power of the human imagination. And a lot of people say, well, that's just your imagination. How many of you know your imagination is the most powerful inward mechanism you have? Anybody know that? Everything, I believe, in life that happens to you somehow entered your imagination at some point in some time, and it manifested in your life. But we say, oh, it's just the imagination, you know? It's nothing to that. These guys are just dreaming. And the reason is nature moves by law. And nature is prepared, Ruth, to do whatever you command it to do. Now, I know that sounds real strange. You say, man, you're talking like we are God. Jesus did say you are gods. Now, oh, God, this is getting too weird. We're getting too far out. Well, no, he said you are. What he's saying is you're in his image and likeness, and you can speak words and have things happen. As I said last week, he wasn't just teaching us stuff so we would know how great he was. He was really endeavoring to show us how great we are and what we can do. But religion has beat it down so much that we're just worms in the dust, you know. We're just humble, broke, poor worms, just, oh, we're never going to have anything. No, that's not the image of God. That's not the image he wants you to have. So you speak words of abundance. Everybody say speak words. Cana in the Greek means the spoken word. And Jesus did this miracle in Cana. First miracle was performed in Cana, which represents the part of your body that speaks. So without getting too deep, the word Cana means to speak or spoken words. And it's powerful when you speak words. All right, step number 4. Number 4, right? Okay, if you're going to cause things to happen in your life, you need to start treating, oh, this is good, available supply as if it were the desired supply. Treat the available supply, everybody say available supply, as if it is desired supply. Now, what does that mean? Somebody tell me in your own words. What do you think we mean? What do you think we mean when we say, take what's available and start treating it as if it's what you desire? Yes, go right ahead.
Assume you're already where you want to be.
Exactly. Assume you are already where you want to be. Or you call things that are not as if they already are. Now, see, that's what causes the laws of nature to go into action. But do you know what we do? We say, I'm broke. Why? I only have $3. Well, why don't you treat that $3 like it's $3 million? How do I do that? Well, first of all, you start talking to your wallet or your purse. You said, come on, man, you're crazy now. I don't talk to things. Yeah, you do. When your car starts acting up on you, you say, come on, you stupid car. You're going to run. You're about to fall apart. You're about to cost me a lot of money. Yeah, you talk to things all the time. When you take a hammer working on something and you hit your finger, what do? You cuss the hammer out. You stupid hammer, and then you throw it against the wall. We talk to things all the time. We just do it, Tom, in the negative too much. But when you say, this supply is more than enough. Okay, what are you talking about, Bernard? Jesus took the ordinary water and treated it as if it were already wine. Fill the pots with water. Because later he told the guys, bear out and give to who? The governor of the feast. Now, guys, imagine this. Okay, you poured the pots full of water. The guy wants wine, and you're telling the guys, okay, take some of what you poured in there and give to the governor. And you know who the governor was? Well, basically, the governor would be like your boss that can have you fired. So imagine you're thinking, man, if I give this dude this water, these guys have your head cut off or stuff like that back in those days. So, but they took the water and poured it, and what did the governor end up saying? You saved the best for what? All right, so apparently from the time they started to the time they served it, the water had become what? You need to make water that's in your life into wine. Now, let's get real, guys. How many of you have water? I mean, everybody have water. What I believe he's implying is the stuff you need to get your miracle is available. I've got water right here. It's good. I mean, if you can't get some water, Jesus continually said, what do you have in your hand? What do you have? What do we have? Oh, we got little boy's lunch. Bring that here. What do you got here? We got some water. We got some water pots. Okay, just pour it into it, because he understood that the law of attraction controls the laws of nature. Boy, that's powerful stuff. Okay, say this after me. A good salary is coming to me now. I am now guided into my true place with true people and true prosperity. Now, instead of cursing your business or your job, start saying a good salary is coming to me now. A good salary. Come on, say it again. Let's say it again for Carrie's sake. Say it after me. A good salary is coming to me now. I am now guided into my true place with true people and true prosperity. That's what we're moving into. True prosperity. And I want to be one of those true people. My real mission is to be a loving teacher of simple truths to help people awaken the power that's already in their lives. And the power for you to prosper is a part of this trueness that I believe will come out of these teachings. Not only that, guys, we need to always think about other people. Think about how to help other people as you prosper. That's why we're always talking about giving back. Last week we talked about the fact that we gave Bloom the money and we bought the bricks. And I want you to start thinking about the next charity we want to donate to. Because one day these checks are going to be so big that we're going to blow the minds of some of these nonprofits when we come and say, here's a check for $25,000 or $250,000, or here's a check to build a new wing on your school, or to help the battered mothers or the battered women or the abused children, and to help solve problems in the planet, because that's what the wealth is all about. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy some of it, because Belinda will enjoy her share, but nothing wrong with getting your fair share or your unfair share, as one of my friends says, and enjoying it, but giving back is an important part of it. Okay, quickly, step number 5. If you're going to prosper this way, you need to learn how to pour forth specific prosperity into your situation. Now, let's get real practical. Many people are not specific enough to prosper. Like you said earlier, the guy said he's going to start a business. Well, what kind of business? How much money do you see yourself making? How many of you have decided how much annual income you want? 1, 2, 3. Okay, the rest of us have not. You know, you have. Okay, you have decided how much annual income you're going to have. That's like turning water into wine. Right now you look at your check and you say, I'm far away from it. But you keep speaking to it, but you need to get specific. You need to treat available supply like it is the desired supply and get real specific about what you desire. Jesus desired wine. He didn't desire Mountain Dew nor lemonade. He said, this is a feast, this is a wedding, we need wine. So are you specific about your desires? Make it real plain. And I believe this is where your vision board comes in, or your whatever you have. You may have it written on a piece of paper, or you may have something in your wallet, but you need to get real specific. Nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. Why is it important to become specific? Somebody tell me. In manifesting the way we're teaching tonight. Why do you think it's important? Excellent, Allison. If you just say, I want a car, okay, how many types of cars are out there?
You might get a hoopty or something.
Yeah, exactly. One of my favorite teachers is the Korean Dr. Cho, and he has over 1 million people in his church. And he started out under a U.S. Army tent when Korea was war-struck and torn. And now South Korea is one of the greatest economic miracles in the planet. And he said he has over 50,000 millionaires in his church. 50,000 millionaires. And the guy started out, he said he was so skinny, not because he was spiritual, but because he didn't have the food to eat. But he kept closing his eyes and visualizing every area of growth and increase. And now you need to go and Google him. And, anyway, if you're interested in that type of stuff. But he is the one that taught about the laws of speaking to water we were talking about last week, that Dr. Emoto, the Japanese that did the study on speaking to water and how water changed. And Dr. Cho said to change anything on the outside, you need to first of all visualize the specific desire on the inside. So here's what he desired when he first started. He wanted a chair, a table, and a bicycle. And he said he kept praying for a chair, a table, a bicycle, year after year after year. And he said he never got the chair and the table and bicycle. And said one day he's just on the floor crying, oh God, why don't you give me the chair, the table, the bicycle? I'm just humble Korean preacher, I don't want much. And he said, God spoke to his heart and said, I can't answer your prayer. Why? You're not specific. What kind of chair do you want? What kind of table? What kind of bicycle? He got specific, and he said within 2 weeks he had what? The chair, the table, the bicycle. He got really specific and said, I want a Schwinn bike, which was a good bike back in those days, and I think they still make Schwinn. And I want a chair with wheels on it so I can roll around like a big shot. And I want a mahogany table. And he said all those things were delivered to him. The universe wanted to deliver it the whole time, but he was not specific. See yourself making $1.5 million a year. That's a decent income, isn't it, Carrie? I mean, you're a real estate, yeah, it's all right, that's good. You're a real estate superstar. I mean, you're a real estate superstar. We have a real estate superstar right here in the midst of this meeting, in this hotel room right now, 1.5 million, you're in the $1 million club. See it and get real specific, and every day say it, and don't let people around you that are negative talk you out of it and say, you're going to that crazy meeting, listen to Bernard, you're dreaming too much, come back to reality and be broke like us. No, because when it manifests, those people will be the first ones saying, can you help us out? The funny thing about people, especially family and people that are around you, when you're struggling to succeed, and this is not on my notes, but I just feel in my heart, they will be the first ones to put down what you're doing. How many of you notice that? What are you reading now? Millionaires of the Bible? Come on. What kind of idiot are you anyhow? That guy is just out to get your money from you. And they start telling you all these things that scare you. Oh man, we better watch out. We better watch. He may be sending money to a Swiss bank somewhere or something like that. Yeah, because the fear was planted in your mind, right? And the next thing you know, you start, I'm giving up all these dreams of making big money. I was talking to a guy the other day, he used to come to Think and Grow Rich. I won't say who he is. His goal, we did our vision board, was to own a Lamborghini. He quit coming to Think or Grow Rich. You know what his goal is now? To own a Subaru. Nothing wrong with a Subaru. But how do you go from a Lamborghini to a Subaru? Letting the wrong people talk in your ear saying that's not realistic. You can't own a Lamborghini. So he told me the other day, well, you know, I changed my goals. I just want a Subaru. I said, well, it won't be too hard to get a Subaru. Lamborghini, you're going to have to operate at a higher level of consciousness, okay? So again, it's not putting people down, but get specific. Being specific. Are you specific about the type of business you want to be in? Who'd like to tell us, how are you going to make the money you're going to make? Somebody just tell us. What is your strategy? Specific strategy. Yes, go ahead, Mr.
We're going to make $1 million off of sales excellence now.
Okay,
And then it's going to go back towards funding O'Neill and Turner Advertising.
okay,
Which is going to eventually become a multi-million-dollar corporation. Which is then going to turn to fund O'Neill and Turner Investing.
Uh-huh.
And then O'Neill and Turner Entrepreneurial Development.
okay, good.
And then once I start investing, that's when I'll make my billions.
On your investment, you will make your billions. Isn't that good? Somebody said, those numbers are scaring me, man, billions, okay? We're going to teach in the Millionaires of the Bible eventually that Joseph was actually a billionaire. According to studies, he was the first billionaire in the Bible. And he was made a billionaire because he was a dreamer. You got to study a little more in depth, but he operated in realms that he saw such abundance that even his mom and dad said, boy, you're crazy. Go back to your room, you know. But he was the first billionaire. So I think many are going to flow into billions. But he has a clear strategy, doesn't he? He's specific and he's acting on it. In fact, we're recording the Sales Excellence now. They came to my sales training class, and one day O'Neill said, man, this stuff is good. We need to put it on video. I said, really? He said, yeah, we need to put this stuff on video and market it. I said, well, let's do it. He said, good. We'll get the equipment. We'll put it on video, and let's market this stuff all over the world to dealerships. So we're working on a program now. We're working diligently on it to market sales training, which I've been making comfortably 6 figures doing by myself, just standing in rooms teaching it. What's so mysterious that if we multiply it and we're reaching the world, you can't make millions? So this is very, how do I say it? Almost metaphysical, but also very practical. But you've got to act on a specific vision and a specific dream. So these guys are excited about it to the point that they invested in this equipment. And the other night at like 10:30, 9:30 at night, I'm standing in their garage out there recording. I'm thinking, where am I and what am I doing, okay? But I love it. You know, just out there recording some stuff. So it's fun. I enjoy the journey. So step number 6, learn how to not reject good when it comes. Almost done, guys. Don't reject the good when it comes. Why? Sometimes when good comes, we don't recognize it as good. All right, we run out of wine. We're sitting here thinking we're out of wine, and Jesus comes and says, fill the pots with water. You had to recognize the water as being the good. Does that make sense? Now, many of you, the good you need is already there. But you need to visualize it as not being what it is. It's not an empty purse. It is an abundant purse. It is not a house payment that's behind. It's a house payment that's made. I could tell you stories about this stuff. I remember one time I got into a negative flow. It's hard for some of you to believe it. But I went through some changes, and things were tough in many areas of life. And some people didn't do what they said they were going to do. People took some TV equipment that I'd bought, and they took over this business by manipulation. And I could go into the details. It was like my real test. And I got to the place that all the stuff I'd worked for so many years was just going away. And these guys that were members of the organization were just taking it left and right. Long story short, I started to get negative. I found myself out selling cars. Instead of teaching and training, I'm out there on the lot selling cars. And I'm standing out there at night, sometimes 9 o'clock at night, just thinking, oh, if I could get my hands on him. Now I have you, you SOB, son of a biscuit eater, of course. But I was thinking about it, and I got negative. And guess what started happening in my life? What do you think started happening? More. Things start going worse. It's like in The Secret, they say when you get out of bed and you stub your toe, what happens? You stub your toe and then you crush your toe, and the next thing you fall over the ottoman, and then you hit your head, and then your whole day starts going. And that's the way life was. And man, the strife and the tension in my marriage, it was getting to the place, my wife and I have been married a long time, but boy, we were just going through it. I'm bearing my heart if you don't mind. And one day I woke up and said, I've got to turn this around. My words, my thinking, and everything, I am not seeing the good. I'm not seeing the good. Everything I'm seeing is bad, and things started going bad. My pay was cut by 70% on one job, the training pay, which was a contractual deal. They cut it from a lot of money to 30%. The next thing you know, I decided to get back to the positive stuff. Okay, emergency broadcast system. This is only a test. I decided to get back to the positive stuff. And guess what happened when I got back to positive affirmation, positive visualizations? What do you think happened? Things start turning around. Things start turning around. And it's been turning around ever since I got back on the positive bandwagon. And you're a part of that turnaround. These guys are a part of that turnaround. Peachtree City, this whole thing, Noonan, what's happening now is a part of the turnaround. Because for a while, again, I was bringing about the negativity because it got on the inside of me. I am so thankful for this car. I am so thankful for this car. Instead of, what am I doing driving this old car when I used to drive new cars? You know what I mean? Anybody ever been there before? So I'm so thankful for this car. This is a great car. This is an awesome car. And I'm driving this thing and the front end is shaking. You hit a bump in the road, and you ever driven a car like that? It starts jumping and you're like, man, I hope I can keep this thing on the road. Then you say, man, what am I doing driving this car? I used to drive new cars, new Mercedes. I'm so thankful for this car. I'm so thankful for this car. Guess what? A newer BMW manifested. Situation one time was so bad, our house payment, I was like, I forgot how many, something like 4 or 5 months behind. And it just looked like you're going to lose this house you've been living in all this time, and those guys that took advantage of you are the reason. So now I'm getting more angry at them, more frustrated. I just start turning around. I go to the house, knock on the side of the house and say, you are paid for. You are paid for. Is that right? Start doing that. Start talking to it and saying, you are paid for. We're turning water into wine. You say, this is weird stuff, but it works. Okay, I must tell you, everything turned around. We got to the place, the house is all caught up, things are taken care of there. In this area, things came together. Opportunities started to open. See, your good will come in vistas of vision on the inside when you internalize prosperity. One guy said it's like an opening that the intelligence of the universe, or God, needs to come through and manifest the good that's already yours. And you got to make that opening, and you can often do it with words and with thoughts. All right, step number 7, persist in filling to the brim, meaning just keep pouring in positive thoughts, positive words. Everybody say positive thoughts and positive words. You cannot get too much of this. Does that make sense? Tom, you can't get too much of it. And just persist in pouring to the brim. Quickly, step number 8. Learn how to draw out of your abundant good from tough experiences. Meaning, don't only look at it in the good experiences, but what are some of the tough experiences? Anybody facing a tough experience? Anybody? I should just share with you some of my tough experiences so you'll know it's not all just a bowl of cherries. I mean, I went through some tough experiences, but now everything is turned around. What, are you ever going to face tough experiences again? Yeah, if I do, I know what to do now. And I draw out of the tough experiences. Why? Jesus had him draw water out of the pots. He said, what I poured in is water out, and it was wine. Step number 9, you need to understand why the real good often comes last in your life. Lasting good often comes last. Simply said, the best is yet to come for many of you. Is that right? And some of you, you're laying in bed at night talking about how old you are and how life has passed you by, and how opportunities passed you by, when really the real good is going to be the last things to happen in your life. The next 5 years can be the best years you have ever had in your life. I don't care how good it's ever been. Anybody believe that? Why? He saved the best wine for what? The best wine is for last. Now, you know what they did at weddings, right? What kind of wine did they give you early at the wedding typically?
The best one.
Yeah, they gave you the best wine early. Why did they give you the best wine early?
Well, you're sober. and
You're sober.
You recognize it. And then later on, you're a little tipsy. You
Yeah,
recognize it.
yeah, exactly.
It's, well, not so good.
That's why they did it. You're sober, you're thinking, oh, this stuff, after you get drunk, it all tastes good. Okay. But that's what they did. But Jesus reversed it, and he kept the best for last. So the way I look at it, the last days of your life should be the best days of your life. Stop letting the world tell you you're getting old, you're worn out, you're done, you're no good. He's saving the best for last. Okay?